This reading, and I ask about Pluto in the 11th house. So, I think that this has a lot to do with how I feel about the group that I started and all those things. This card I got was changing my focus. These are the relationship cards. These right here. Which I resonate with, but this says change my focus, which basically is telling me that I'm feeling very sad, very disappointed right now about how things have been going within the groups, within the construct of the groups, and I feel kind of left out, which I've already explained in another video, but I feel like it's time to move on, in a sense. And with Pluto in your 11th house, and North Node, all good things must come to an end in order to transform. We've went down, we've got in the deep, in the dark. Now it's time to transform it. Now it's time to change. Now it's time to be positive. Now it's time to empower. You can only stay in that dark for so long. And I'm depressed, and this is what this card is. Since I'm depressed, I need to change focus. I need to be my positive self. I need to pull that empowerment out and become that phoenix. So the second card is moving on. Moving on means changing something, like starting something new, starting something fresh. It doesn't mean that I've failed at something, because you can't really ever fail at anything if you've tried. It just means that I'm moving on, and for my growth and my potential, I need to move on to start a more positive type endeavors, that maybe I need to attract other things related to my destiny, related to where I'm going in life. And yeah, I want to help people with mental disorders, I do. But at the same time, I need to help myself. I need to travel inside myself and empower myself and be my friend and help me grow, so I can help other people grow, give them the tools, and they can choose to use these tools or not. It's up to them. But I want to pass on my tools of empowerment to people to help them, because that's something that I feel like I really need to do in life. It's part of my destiny. And I can't be down in the dark and live there for the rest of my life if I'm going to teach others the tools of empowerment to grow and to be the best part of their self that they can be. And being blended and being more whole and centered is not a bad thing. That is what we're born to be. And this is speaking from someone who has been several different people. So, and then this right here is the third eye chakra, which basically means that I need to take my knowledge and my empowerment tools and spread it around to the collective consciousness, to the whole world, to help spread them tools of empowerment, and to connect more with myself. I need to use my gifts as a Scorpio rising and Plutonic gifts as Pluto in the 11th house, of perceiving and sensing and knowing things, and share it. Because I have the gifts of transformation, but I can't make people transform. All I can do is transform my life and be an example, So, that's my powerful message for these cards, per se. And with cards, the thing is, you're going to pull what you asked for, because it's related to the universe, and the energy is coming down at you at that present point in time. So, if I ask another question, dealing with some totally different thing, so I ask a question about my daughter and how she's going to do in school next year, I'm going to have a total different set of cards pertaining to those energies. Or tomorrow, if I ask the same question about Pluto, there might be a total different set of cards because of what's going on with me and my energy being different. It changes all the time. That's the thing about tarot cards, oracle cards, the energies of the universe, things that's going on up there, because you got all those transits, you got all those things moving around. So, everything changes. But that's another story, because if you have a lot of Gemini or Sagittarius, you know, or mutable signs, you know that everything changes. And you're pretty much used to that way of thinking and that way of life. And you can be versatile and swim in and out of that, or float in and out of that, whatever. But we're talking about Pluto and the 11th house, which is a very, very, very thick energy. And if I walk into a room, let's use the Spiritual Living Center for an example, because I've went there and I tried to belong to that group, and I challenge groups with their belief systems and the way that they do things, and try to get involved. And it's like there's a thick force right there that I have to get past, because when I walk into a room, every frickin' body looks at me, which can be difficult for my social anxiety. Being a Scorpio rising to begin with, but when you have Pluto and your North Node in the 11th house, that makes it even more difficult for me as an individual. I'm supposed to help in a group. I'm supposed to empower people. And keep the balance and try to be a mediator of sorts and get powerful messages out there. But I myself, it's part of my destiny, but I myself have such a hard time being assertive because some of the other things in my chart. And astrology is so much right on, because Mars in Cancer is not as direct as, like, my daughter has Mars in Scorpio. She can go right up there and get her things done, and if she has to be, she could be direct. It takes her a long time to get direct, because Scorpion, they'll like, when you least expect it, they'll like come behind you and get you. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good place to have your Mars is in Scorpio or Aries. But when it's in Cancer, it's like Cancer goes sideways. So, my Mars is square Pluto, which makes me psychotic when I get upset. Or I could become psychotic. Or, in the other way, I could be really, really, really spiritual and all those things. Pluto in the 11th house. My cat's meowing. She's got a problem. She's very, very crabby. Well, you're bitchy. Yeah, you are. She's a Virgonian. And she's got Sag rising. Mars and Sag. Yeah, and Aquarian moon. She's very bossy. Hold on a minute. Okay, I just got this new book, so I'm just going to read Pluto in the 11th house. Instead of trying to explain it, because sometimes I'm not very good at explaining shit. So, I'm going to read out of this book that I got at Hastings. It's the new A to Z horoscope maker and delineator. Something like that. Anyway, it says Pluto in the 11th house. And Pluto is my chart ruler because of the Scorpio rising. Not Neptune. Even though I'm a Pisces sun, Neptune is not the ruler of my chart. The ruler of your chart goes by your rising sign, ascendant. Rising sign and ascendant is the same thing. And that's what was coming up on the eastern horizon of your time of birth, which changes every 2 hours. So, you go by, when you try to figure out your transits, you go by your rising sign. And when you read your horoscopes, you should read your rising sign and your sun sign, and then kind of combine them together. Okay, so since Pluto is my chart ruler, and it's in the 11th house, it's going to be a strong position. It's going to be strong, so as with Pluto in this position, great care must be taken in the choice of friends. As a native is easily led and influenced by others. He is a natural leader, but the people he leads seem an accidental combination. If well aspected, he will use his magnetic personality to lead others in a social welfare, humanitarian, or charitable cause. If poorly aspected, he becomes an underworld gang leader, a criminal egging others to do his dirty work for him. There are likely to be sudden breaks with friends and associates, and people enter and leave this native's life unexpectedly. He is apt, at the height of his power, to abandon his goals and set out in an entirely different direction. He is fiercely loyal to the cause and people of the moment and demands the same sacrificing loyalty from his acquaintances. He is ruthless in pursuing his goals, and his expectations are often unrealistically high. Demanding a lot from himself and others, he inspires either great admiration or intense hatred from those around him. So, as you see, this is Pluto in the 11th house. And that's how that house is deals with friends and organizations. I don't think it says anything about the house per se. I would have to go clear back. But if you know anything about astrology, houses have different themes, and the 11th house has to do with your hopes, dreams, organizations, and friends. And then, hold on a second. Okay, and what it says for my nodes, my moon nodes, is when positioned in the 11th house, north node, which my north node's in Libra, my whole house, my whole 11th house is Libra. So, north node. It says acquaintances assist in realization of hopes and wishes. Basically, really good friendships. South node, undesirable associations, loss of opportunities and frustration of hopes, wrong advice, and false friends. So it has a good and bad interpretation. That's a very short interpretation. but I wanted to read their interpretation of... See, I have Neptune in the first house too, so not just Scorpio is what you see. And basically Neptune in the first house makes me seem like I can pick up on things around me, and I can get very confused about who I am or my identity, because it is the house of identity. And I can be very mediumistic and psychic and pick up on different places that have energies and everybody else's energy. Emotional, trance-like, and I can get weird feelings and my dreams. I really dream. Plus with Uranus in the 12th house, I can get some weird-ass dreams. But I am going to read the Scorpio rising if I can find it. Okay. First, the physical appearance of a Scorpio rising is... My freaking hair is bothering me. It says... Excuse me. Average height and slightly below. Tendency to stoutness or at least full form. Often square type of face and build of body. Hold on a minute. Thick, dark hair, curling or wavy. Sometimes crimpy or frizzy. Prominent brows and perceptive faculties. Aquiline or Jewish type of nose. And profile. Dusky complexion. So that is the Scorpio rising physical appearance. And their mental tendencies are quick, keen, shrewd, critical, penetrating mind, and keen judgment, strong will and determination, self-reliant, bold, fixed views, a subtle mind, hard to influence, not easily imposed upon, willful, courageous, energetic, and active when interested, but at other times indolent, sarcastic, or impulsive, and very angry when provoked. Frequently interested in some form of occult or chemical research, and fond of mystery. Some are very practical, matter-of-fact, executive, good businessmen, contractors, etc. They make good officers, naval men, workers with or dealers in liquids, inclination to surgery or some practical scientific research or pursuit. Personality. Excuse me. My hair is driving me crazy. Personality of a Scorpio ascending, and this is very important for Pluto, I would think. This is driving me nuts. I'm sorry. See, hair is one of the major freaking problems with Scorpio rising, is that it's all thick and annoying. Okay. Personality: reserved, tenacious, determined, and secretive. Somewhat inclined to suspicious or skeptical, and stingingly sarcastic. They are quick-witted, quick in speech and action, alert, forceful, and positive. They are often blunt, brusque, and seemingly fond of contest. Nevertheless, they make staunch and splendid friends. They possess grit and enterprise and will enable them to reach high attainments. They accomplish their purposes by subtlety and strength of will, or by force if necessary. They have mechanical skill and much constructive or destructive ability. They enjoy travel and fond of investigating mysteries and things occult. Although appreciating luxury, they can be very frugal and economical. They are natural detectives, sheriffs, bailiffs, chemists, surgeons, and contractors, and gifted in accomplishing things requiring muscular skill and aggressive enterprise. Motive vital temperament. The planetary significator is Pluto. So, with the frugal thing, that is very, very, very true. I mean, with all my other planets that they say can be not very thrifty with money, like Gemini and Aries, then Pisces, the Scorpio kind of, and the Saturn influence that I have kind of has kicked in and kept me from doing that a lot. I've been saving more, and I've got the Taurus. I've got a couple houses in Taurus that keep me grounded. So, and a good saver. But yeah, I felt like I needed to talk about this Pluto thing because it's real. I believe that these energies greatly affect me as a person. The astrology thing, I believe, is real. And I want to start something that's going to help people get to know themselves and positively empower them so they can be more authentic and grow to their highest potential. Astrology is a great resource. I mean, you can find every type of mental disorder through looking at your chart. You can figure out through your ancestral charts, DNA, biological stuff. It's all going to be there. And you can moderate your different behaviors. You can find ways to moderate it and grow eventually in life. You're going to grow back together. You're going to form back together. And the only way that you can do that is by falling apart. And that's what Pluto does. Pluto breaks apart everything and destroys it. And you lose everything. And then, in the midst of losing everything, you build everything back up. You pick yourself back up and you start over. And you're transformed. And you're more positive. Pluto wants you to survive. Pluto wants you to be the best possible version of yourself that you can be. Because there's that phoenix inside of everybody. And I think that, or I know that, part of my purpose here is to help people. And I love sitting around and talking with friends and doing things like that, but there's nothing like the feeling of helping somebody transform their life, of seeing somebody, seeing a smile on their face, and seeing them doing well in their life. And I'm going to hurt this cat. I'm going to get you. You had a trash can problem. My cat gets in the trash can and gets a tuna out. I just squirted her. I got her that time. Anyway, yeah. I'm going to get off here now. So, love to all. Peace to all. And if Pluto comes knocking on your door, just let her in. And accept it. And be ready to surrender, because in that surrender, you'll find that peace and serenity. You'll find that light inside the dark. And you'll be a happier, more transformed person for letting her in. Because she's going to come anyway. Whether you want her to or not. So you might as well enjoy the ride. Let go and let God. That's Pluto. See ya.